Welcome to the Baseball Happenings podcast. Our guest this episode is Erik Kratz, a longtime Major League catcher and a member of Team USA Baseball. He joins us to discuss how the postponement of the 2020 Tokyo Summer Olympic Games will affect his preparation for the upcoming Olympic qualifiers. You can subscribe to the Baseball Happenings podcast on all major podcast platforms, as well as follow us on social media. We're at Examine Baseball on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok, and you can find us on the web, baseballhappenings.net. What was your reaction when the IOC made the announcement to postpone the 2020 Olympic Games?
I mean, I think it was the right thing to do for sure. I mean, it was one of those things that was kind of hanging over. I appreciated that they didn't just, up and cancel it. I think they definitely did their due diligence in trying to figure out what the best option is and how to move forward with that. But I'm glad it was, it was a relief that they just postponed it and they came out with their not ruling, but their decision. And which is better for me, which is better than, trying to still cram it in with no fans and still with health risks and involved. I think the postponement was a good decision.
When they postponed the qualifier, did you have a feeling that this was somewhat imminent?
For sure, yeah. You saw different things closing, different tiers of things closing at the time. So you felt like it was going to happen.
I spoke with Paul Seiler yesterday, and he said that there's guys with different stages of their career on the team. When I looked at the roster, I thought about you immediately because you're maybe in a different place than some of the other guys. At this point in your career, what were you looking forward to about playing the Olympics? And, do you have any concern per se that it's going to be pushed off for another year?
I mean, what I was looking forward to playing in the Olympics was playing the Olympics. I mean, just the opportunity to play, to be an Olympic athlete is, even to try to qualify for the Olympics is something that is, once in a lifetime opportunity. And to be selected to do it, I mean, that's an awesome opportunity, and so something that I didn't want to pass up. As far as moving forward, we don't know. I mean, the news is still fresh, and no decision needs to be made right now. But also, a lot can happen. I mean, if I told you where I was, I think they said they might be trying to do it next year in July, around the same time.
Mm-hmm.
If you think of that as a tentative date, so we're about a year and 3 months from there. If I can tell you where I was a year and 3 months ago in baseball, it's another world from where I am now. And a year and 3 months before that was another world from where I was before. So a lot changes in baseball. A lot. It's not like I'm a 200-meter sprinter. Where I'm just going to all of a sudden, come up with a new event that I'm running in or something. It's something that's, I play baseball, and if baseball professionally, if teams continue to offer me a job, you have an opportunity to keep playing, and then, my wife and I, we make the decision if I'm going to keep playing or not. So there's different layers to that answer, and where I'll be in a year and 3 months from now, I don't know, but I would hope there's an opportunity there, because there's still a qualifier too, and who knows when that qualifier is going to be.
Your journey has really been, I don't want to say immaculate, but just such an interesting one. Even to follow coming out of like Division III, and then all the time that you put in the minor leagues to get to the major leagues, and like you said, just the changing almost annually the last few seasons. Looking at your stats and seeing that. What keeps you in the game at this point? With that's like journey that you've had?
I mean, yeah, it's been an incredible journey, and I think probably the journey is what has kept me in the game. I think if you get to the big leagues at 21 and you get 10 years in the big leagues and you never go down to the minors, and then all of a sudden you're faced with some adversity of trying to go down to the minor leagues at 31 years old. It's a little bit different than when you don't make it. You don't establish yourself till basically never, and you're always trying to establish yourself. I think that's something that's kept me in it, but it's also been something that my wife and I have prayed about every year before the season. Where are we to be used? Like, how can I be best used in the situation that I'm going into? Some organizations I've been able to step up and have a prominent role and play. Other organizations I've been a fill-in, and I think some guys view being a fill-in as something that's beneath them, and they don't want to do that. But I have the view and I have the mindset that a fill-in can make so many more significant ripples in other people's careers than just my own. It's something I have an opportunity to hopefully pour into some guys that maybe are on the road to make the same mistakes that I made, and hopefully I can keep them from making those mistakes. Or there's just so much positive that I feel like I can add to different players' careers, different guys. And it doesn't, and as a catcher, it's a little different than an outfielder. I'm interacting with position players, and I'm also interacting with pitchers. And so it's something that I look at it as, what kind of positive impact can I make on each player, but also as an organization. I feel partially responsible for when organizations that I'm in make it to the playoffs. In some way, whether I'm on the team or I'm not on the team. And ultimately, yes, I still think I can play at the big league level. And barring a few bad slumps here and there, I think it's possible, and it's something that my value as a player is still where it's at. That organizations offer me jobs, so I'm very, very lucky.
Right. And you're in your second go-round with the Yankees, and, you're hitting 263, before spring training was coming to the halt. What's the plan for you right now, baseball-wise, in terms of, A, maintaining your health with everything that's going on, but B, still trying to, keep in shape? Have you gone back home, or are you still in Florida, or what's going on with that for you?
Yeah, I went back home. I'm fortunate. I have a gym in the basement and a cage that I can hit in. So it's really just it feels like I'm about, if we think we're about a month and a half, 2 months out of possibly starting the season, then I'm kind of 2 months before I'm headed to spring training mode, kind of December. And it's easy for me to go back and look at what I did or what I do normally in December, and kind of match up my workouts based on that, and match up my throwing and hitting based on that, and so that when they do tell us, hey, you know what, we got to turn it on and we're going to have spring training, then I'm set to go. It's something that's, I think now that I'm here, it's kind of old hat, and I feel like everything's going really well.
And what did you see from the Yankees club, from the time that you spent with them this season that looks promising when we do make a return to baseball?
Oh, man. I don't think you got enough time.
Is there a pitcher that you're excited to working with, or is there some guy that you're starting to see make,
Yeah, no, I think it's cool to see, because I leave an organization and then I come back, and then I leave and then I come back. You said it's my second stint, technically my fourth stint with the Yankees, but it's been, here and there, little smatterings in the minor leagues, some in the big, one in the big leagues, spring training here and there. So it's cool to see guys that I played with and developed relationships with that really have made steps at improving. You see a guy like Tyler Wade who, could really have a significant role, a big league team, and playing with him in AAA and seeing him start to mature. You see a guy like Jordan Montgomery coming back from an injury and really, really impressed me in spring. Not necessarily with his pitching. His pitching was obvious. He pitched really well, but just his preparation before games, and a guy like Luis Sessa who's learning in the big leagues on the fly, and a guy like Mike Ford who stepped up and had a great year last year in the big leagues. And that was something that he had kind of always been doing in AAA too. So it's something that's cool to see those guys do that. And then somebody I worked with significantly was Kyle Higashioka. His demeanor of kind of grinding out, being in the minor leagues for so long, and all those guys are homegrown guys with the Yankees, and everybody thinks, well, the Yankees, they just go out and they spend all that money, but it's so cool to see those homegrown guys that are going to make a significant impact on a World Series team, and that's a credit to them, and it's also a credit to the organization.
Thank you for joining us on the Baseball Happenings podcast. We'd love it if you took a moment to rate us on whatever platform you're using to listen to this podcast.